Wow, this is a tough act to follow. My name's Johnny Walker, and I'm here to tell a story about a time I absolutely had no regrets in my life, and that was meeting my real father for the first time. And I remember I was 13 years old, and I was going to Valley Forge Junior High School, and we were living just on the other side of Gateway Shopping Center up Walker Road in Glen Hardy Apartments. And I was walking home from school that day, and I was walking home with my girlfriend Saida, and so I dropped her at her place, and then I go to Glen Hardy at the common entrance areas, and I see the most bizarre sight I've ever seen up until that date, at that age on. I see this man and woman fully dressed in square dance regalia with matching his and her ostrich boots, I found out later, cowboy hat, the pearl buttons, and a real friggin' six-shooter. I'm not talking about like a gun like in a vest pocket. Like I'm talking about a holstered six-shooter tied at the leg. And I'm like, whoa, what the hell? There must be a party going on or something, you know, dress up or something. So I'm going into my apartment, and the guy, they're looking at me kind of funny. And I'm looking at them kind of funny, because this is Valley Forge. And he says, "Hey, you Johnny?" And I said, "Maybe." He said, "Well, I'm your daddy." And I was like, holy shit. And I've been waiting my whole life to say this. And I was like, am I on candid camera? And he's like, hell no, boy, you ain't on candid camera. I'm really your daddy. And he always walked so, like he had a belly, and he was so cocksure of himself, and he walked like this. I talked to your pop, and he told me you was going to be here, and so I wanted to introduce you, and we decided not to give you a heads up or nothing, and I'm your real daddy. And I was like, whoa. So we went in the house, and we played poker for about 45 minutes, and he told me some stories, and I won about $8 in quarters from him, and he says, hey, you want to move to Southwest Georgia? And I said, hey, I'll try anything once, right? So I go down to Southwest Georgia, and I take the Greyhound bus, and he picks me up there, him and Trudy and my stepbrother Jeff and Misty Dawn. And so he starts driving us out to the airport, because he's a crop duster, right? So he drives me to the airport, and then he's like, hey, boy, you hungry? And I was like, yeah, Dad. And my pop-up had told me all about him after this happened before I got down there. So he's like, well, we'll go to Pizza Hut. And that's about 35 miles from where we lived on this tiny little airstrip where he was a crop duster. But on the way, he started driving through all these back roads, and so we'd see these big peanut combines, and then we'd see like these giant cypress swamps, and he'd pull real close into the cypress swamps. And he'd say, look at there, Johnny, look at there, see that, see that? I was like, no. And he's like, look. I'm like, holy shit, that's a 10-foot alligator, Dad. He's like, yeah, you see it, boy, you see it? I'm like, wow, that is cool as hell. And then we creep up on something else. He pulled right up. Look out yonder, look out yonder. You see that? See that? And I'm looking, I'm like, holy shit, that's a snake. And he throws something at it, right? He's like, that's a goddamn cottonmouth, Johnny. You're going to have to get used to them if you're going to live with here, because we go coon hunting, and you know, we run up them at night sometimes. I'm like, wow. And we keep driving, and then we get to these pine barrens. He's like, look over yonder, boy, look over yonder. I'm like, holy shit, Dad, that's a 3-foot fucking squirrel. Where do you see a 3-foot fucking squirrel? I swear to God. That's a fox squirrel, boy. It's a fox squirrel. They only have them down south. I'm like, wow. By then, I'm so amped up, and we're going to the Pizza Hut. I'm like, Dad, is it true that you used to drag race motorcycles and you'd race anything that showed up on the track? He's like, hell yeah, boy, I used to race them motorcycles. I had Smithville service station. People come from 3 states all around to get the super tune. And I was like, wow, Dad, you really own a T-6 fighter plane from World War II, and you do barrel rolls, and you do the loop-de-loops? And he's like, hell yeah, boy, you want to go up this weekend? I'll take you up. I was like, oh my God. How about this one, Dad? Is it true that one time you were hired to go to Wyoming and shoot a male buffalo that broke out of the herd, out of the refuge, went to the mountains, and would come and steal females and take it back up to the mountains. Oh, hell yeah, boy, I shot that son of a bitch with my 300 Weatherby with a Leopold scope. First one didn't even penetrate the hide. Second one, bam! Dropped him dead. I was like, wow, Dad, you are so badass. And then we get to the Pizza Hut, and we're waiting for our pizza, and I'm thinking, wow, I really like this guy. I can't wait to tell him about my girl, Saida. Mom said she could come down. I'm going to stay here. So they go to the bathroom, and I go up, and I'm playing some pinball, and I matched, so I won a free game. And I'm like, cool. And this little 13 or 12-year-old boy puts a quarter in too. I'm like, what the hell, I'll play him. So I play him, ding, and I win. And I'm like, cool. So I'm walking like my dad, cocksure and cocky, and I sit at the table. Bam! And I'm like, what the hell, Dad? We don't do that goddamn shit down here, boy. You're playing pinball with a goddamn nigger. And I was like, wow, Dad. I guess I'm not going to tell you about my girlfriend, Saida. I thought you just hated pinball. But, you know, I learned a lot that day. I learned how beautiful Georgia is, and I learned what racism is, too. And, you know, and ever since then, I've made it my goal to fight racism wherever I go. And for the people that tell you that it's over now, it's not. Because where I live, they just had their first interracial prom only 4 years ago today. And I saw it made the news up here. So don't believe that shit. Love everybody and treat everybody fairly. Judge them on their character. And that's all I have, and I have no regrets. Nice job, man.